from one stinky team to the Nets. Literally, the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. Look, I don't really have any expectations. I'm not trying. I'm not trying to hate. I know it comes off that way.
Yep, here you go.
And I get all these fan bases. You joked about this earlier in the show. Like the Cavaliers fans are going to come for me now because I took some shots. I said it's toxic there. Look, from where I sit, okay, I try to assess every situation, right?
Yes.
If I think it's toxic, I'm going to say that. If I think your team stinks, I'm going to say that. If I think your team is a contender, I'm going to say that. The Nets, I believe, are as in good a shape as you can be for a rebuild.
Yeah.
It is a rebuild. Like, I don't feel like a Nets fan should get defensive because I say your team's going to suck because you're in a rebuild.
You should be happy.
I will say this. No, because every fan should be upset that their team's in a rebuild. However, in the Nets case,
yes,
I think they are in as good a shape as you can be in for a rebuild.
Okay.
I almost look at them, even though they won last year, I almost look at them in the same breath as the Thunder before they had success.
Yes.
The Thunder had a ton of young, talented players. You weren't sure how it was going to mesh. They just kept adding to it. Draft picks. You bring in Chet. And so I look at the Nets in the same way. I like some of the young players on this team. I think they're young stars in the making. Yes. Cam Thomas is a star in the making.
Yep.
Cam Johnson is a star in the making. Nick Claxton, I like. I'm not going to go as far as to say he's a star, but hey, they got him wrapped up money-wise. Yeah. I like his game. You could argue, you could convince me, you could talk me into young star in the making moniker for him as well.
Yep.
That's a great young nucleus. You have draft picks out the yin-yang.
Yep.
I think best case scenario, this is not what I think is going to happen, but more on that in a minute. Best case scenario, looking at the glass half full, Ountae.
Yes.
If Ben Simmons gives you anything, good for you, team-wise. B, you can move his ass at the trade deadline and get something. You can get something. Because that contract, when that comes off the books, you're going to have all the money in the world. Yes. You got a young nucleus. You got draft picks out the yin-yang. And unlike OKC, even though I made that comparison, unlike OKC, Brooklyn's a destination, bruh. If I'm a free agent, I know the Thunder are good. I'm not trying to go to Oklahoma City, dog. If I can look at Brooklyn with a young nucleus and I can see the vision, and you got money? Yeah. I'll go to Brooklyn. Thanks. I think they're in good shape for a rebuild. Does that make sense? Is that fair, Ountae?
That's fair. There's a lot to unpack there. Once again, you always give me a ton to unpack. I'm going to start off with Cam Thomas. I just think he's a great player to be had for a rebuild as well. I think him, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton are great bones, right? To say, hey, free agent, you want to come play for New York, right?
Yes.
We have money, like you said. You should come play with these young guys who are hungry and scrappy and can do some good things. You've already seen it before. And they're going to get a lot of opportunities to show it off, right?
That's right.
Where you lost me is Ben Simmons. You can get something for Ben Simmons?
You don't think so?
They're literally going to have to pay the rest of his contract at the rest of the end of the season to be able to trade him to somebody else.
If he plays well, you don't think any team will show interest in that?
What did you just say?
Well, I did disclaimer it. You got to be fair. I said I don't believe this will happen, but if Ben Simmons plays well,
right,
you can trade him and get something. Yes. Well, let's get into that.
Okay, so talk to me. Do you think that's a possibility this year?
Yeah, of course it's a possibility.
Because we've seen the videos, and I'm tired of the videos.
Yeah, the videos.
I'm over it. I'm over the Ben Simmons jump shot videos coming in every summer.
No, I'm not buying
tired
that.
of his teammates saying he looks good and he looks healthy and he looks happy. You know, are we actually going to get that this season, Travis?
Listen, You said, is it possible? Yes, it is.
Yeah, no, I believe it's
Yes, it
possible.
is. Yes, it is.
I believe it's possible.
No one ever questioned his talent, ever.
I think it is possible.
Yes.
100%. I've seen it before, so
Yes.
I know he can do it again.
Yes.
I know he still has the athleticism and all that other stuff, is whether he can be healthy and whether mentally he can get his mind together to put together a full season.
Yeah.
That's the question. It almost looks like he has the yips ever since he forgot to shoot that layup against Trae Young in the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever it was, or the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, So ever since then, it looked like he forgot how to play basketball. So I'm asking you.
No.
Do you think it's possible?
It is possible, but I would not bet on it, which is why I said that, right? Like I was simply stating if he gives you something, you could try to move him to get something back. I mean, likely, no, I wouldn't bet on it. I'm done betting on Ben Simmons. No one's ever questioned his talent, ever.
No.
Or his God-given abilities, his size, what he can do with the basketball. If the shot has improved and he wants to play basketball. My issue with Ben Simmons has always been, and I don't even know if this is fair. Again, this is from the outside looking in. And no one will ever gloss over or belittle the issues he has had with mental health. We all respect that. We all get that.
Yes.
We're all human beings here.
100%.
Let's set that baseline here, right? With that being said, I have wondered at several points in Ben Simmons' career so far, does he love basketball?
Right.
Or does he love what basketball provides? That's been my question. I have not seen from him the fire to come back and play. The willingness to play hurt.
Yes.
Every pro athlete, and Tay, you balled at Division I, and you told me the same thing. Every pro athlete I've ever covered and Division I athlete I have ever covered in my long career has always told me during the season, you are never 100%.
No.
Ever.
No.
All of us play with something.
Right.
I have not seen that from Ben Simmons. I can't count on that. I guess my overarching bigger point was, regardless of him, if you get nothing from him, what's the difference?
Well,
okay?
No.
I'm saying they have enough in the cupboard in terms of young, talented players.
Yes.
Draft picks, from the big three not working out and moving all those players and Harden and all that. And also money once he's off the books.
Yes.
They're still fine.
Yes.
I was simply saying, if he can give you something, it not only helps you win games, but it also kind of rises his stock.
It does.
And I think you could look to move him. You're not going to get, listen, I'm not saying you're getting the first pick in the draft for Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
like, everyone relax.
I understand.
Here. But you could get something if he gives you
they're gonna have
something.
to pay. They're gonna have to pay that contract because 40
they know
is
that.
crazy.
They got to know
crazy.
that. No one's doing that.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have to know that.
They
That's
have
why I
to know
said when
that.
he comes off the books, they'll be in good shape.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I understand what you're saying, and the reason I'm getting so frustrated and and just upset about this situation is because I love players like Ben Simmons when he's at his peak.
Yes.
One of my favorite players growing up, and I've said it a million times on this show before, is I love Rajon Rondo in his game. So I have no issue with you not being able to shoot the three and all this other stuff. I love players who can play, make, and defend. But are you going to be able to give us that? Because if he can give you that, when you have guys like Cam Thomas, when you have guys like Cam Johnson, man, this could be a really special team. You know what I mean? Like as far as young bad teams. It could be a team that we could be excited about. Maybe you bring them back next year on an $8 million deal instead of a $40 million deal, right? And have a veteran like that who's now better and on a prove-it deal and hungry and all this other stuff. He can come in. I even love the guys like they have with Jalen Wilson. I think he had a fantastic summer league. He's a really good guy. I think they have a lot of other veteran guys like Bogdanovich on this team who can help them stretch the floor. I think they have guys like Shake Milton, who's looking for another opportunity to show that he's a capable NBA player after leaving the 76ers a couple years, and being with that team and wanting a new opportunity. So I really like this young Nets team. I just think that $40 million from Ben Simmons is the reason why they suck right now, to be honest, because he hasn't been able to give them anything. So I'm scared about this. You said you wouldn't bet on it. I want to know if you would bet on this, because you said you wouldn't bet on Ben Simmons.
Hell no.
Being the guy that we hope that he used to be. Would you bet on this? Cam Thomas averaging 30 points a game this season.
No, and I like him. 30's a little aggressive.
Okay.
I'll tell you
23 last year.
Yeah.
30, and for a lot of that year, you know, he had McHale. So another score.
That matters. I mean, without him, like, you don't think those defenses are keying in on you?
Right.
Let's see how it looks now that they're coming after you, right? Mm-hmm. I tell you what, I want no parts of betting this team at all. I'm sorry. Yes. Like, look, what they win 32 games last season? Mm-hmm. I'm shaving 10. I bet you they'll win 22, 25 games.
Wow.
I think they're going to be bad. I think those young players, their numbers will be fine. They'll be exciting.
Yeah.
The future, I guess if you can feel good about being terrible, those fans will feel that. Like, they'll have young talent doing enough where you see the vision for the future. We're going to be okay. Yep. We got to build around these guys. But this season's going to suck. I'm sorry. That's how I think.
I agree. It's one of those things where I'm like, hey, show me something, right? Yeah. Show me something, Killian Hayes. Show me something, Zion Williams. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Show me something, Trenton Wofford. Show me something, Day'Ron Sharpe. You know, I want to see if one of these guys can break out. Obviously, they have Dennis Schroeder as well. He's a good NBA player. But it's a lot of guys who are on some prove-it opportunities. Sure. Even Dorian Finney-Smith wanted to get out. You could probably package him in a deal. I don't think he wants to be there from what I've heard or from what I've seen, allegedly, you know what I mean? So I won't talk too much about him. But for the rest of the guys, it's a prove-it opportunity. So I just want to see that.
Amen, brother.